I'm a 30-year-old woman who had, with nearly 400 men and quite a few women between the ages of 17 and 28. Welcome back to They Did What, your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over 3 different articles or 3 different stories dealing with the subject of gals having extremely high body counts. The first one will be about a gal. She's 36 and is claimed to have over 200 partners. And as you can imagine, her boyfriend, who doesn't have anything close to that number, bit concerned, has some issues over this. Second one is a gal who is 21 and claims to have 100 partners. And her boyfriend's just like, what the hell, I've only had 7. And he's having issues with that. And then the last one, the icing on the cake, is a gal who I believe is 30 years old, who's had, wait for it, 400 partners. And there's going to be a whole Q&A thing going on with her because she has her posts. And as you can imagine, she loves attention. All these dudes are asking her questions, and the responses to them are just quite entertaining. But I'm doing this, guys, just to show you, as I say all the time, we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0. And thanks to the feminist movement for the last 60 years, pretty much encouraging the gals to go out there and be free and do anything a man can do. And, of course, with the S-word revolution, that is the result. That results what we have today. So for these guys out there that think, I'm going to get myself a gal who's a virgin, well, good freaking luck. In fact, good luck trying to get a gal nowadays in their late teens and 20s that has a number under 50, because this has become the thing, and nowadays you can't be empowered if you don't have relations with every dude in town, okay? You can't make this shit up. So I'm going to get more into this, guys. You're going to see more examples, and I'm going to share my opinions on this subject along the way. So the first story is called "My Girlfriend Has Had 200 Partners." Starts, he says, "I love my girl, and I told that I'm not concerned with what she's done, only what she does in the future. She's 36 years old, told me in the beginning that she slept with close to 200 men. We initially intended to be nothing more than friends with benefit, but we fell in love." You don't fall in love with your friends with benefits. And guess what? If she told you 200, I guarantee you it's way more than that. Guaranteed. And if you think that she's going to be able to bond with you and be just with you in a serious thing, you're out of your damn mind. Even if she goes into it intending that. She's so used to getting sausage all the time, after a while, she's going to get bored. These are not girlfriend material, let alone wife material. She tells me and reassures me repeatedly that we're one night stand, that most were one night stands, and it was just because she likes sex. Gee, you think? Really? You think that it's just because she likes sex? And these are all one night stands? She tells me I'm the best she's ever had. Bullshit. And that I'm only the one that's made her orgasm from sex, less one other guy from a one night stand. You gotta be shitting me. She really likes this guy, wants to keep him around, probably because she's in her 30s and finally wants to settle down, and tells him that he's the only guy, aside from anybody else, that was able to give her an O, amongst other things, and the best she's ever had. Sure. She does nothing but constantly reassure me of everything. She's perfect in this way. I, however, am the problem. My mind is my worst enemy in our relationship. I can't help wonder just how, mathematically speaking, out of all these partners, I can be the best. And I'm the only one that can make her have multiple orgasms just from sex. I suddenly find myself somewhat bothered by the number 200, as though how can making love mean anything when she's had so many casual partners? Trust your gut. Your gut's telling you how can you possibly be the best? How could she possibly, obviously have something serious with that many casual encounters? Your gut is right. Something's up. There's no way you're the best she ever had. Guaranteed. Or the odds are pretty much against you in that if you look at percentages with the 200, at least 200 dudes. She's just saying this to make you feel better. Someone please tell me, am I crazy? And give me some advice on how to control my wandering mind, as I love this girl more than anything and refuse to be without her. But at the same time, I need to find a way to cope with my head. Smack. Love her more than anything? Can't imagine your life without her or whatever? Come on, man. There are plenty of chicks in this world. They may have numbers, but they're not going to have this many numbers. But she's telling you everything that she knows that you need to hear to keep you around. That's why. Probably at 36 years old, she's like, well, okay. Pretty much fire is going to start coming out down there. So I got to find a guy to settle down with and put a ring on my finger so I can wear that white dress and walk down the aisle. If there's anybody who shouldn't be wearing a white dress, it's her, but you get my point here. She wants to have that wedding. So is he going to be able to get this out of his head? No way. No way. All these stories I go over, these guys talk about their girl cheated, their wives cheated, I can't get out of my head. You're not going to get out of your head. Every time you hook up, you're going to picture like dudes lining up down the hallway waiting for their turn. So no, this is not girlfriend material. It certainly isn't long-term relationship, and most certainly not wife material. Move on. That's what I'm saying. And good luck trying to find somebody better, but there are obviously ones better than someone with 200. But again, this is the world we're in right now. Okay. Story number 2. This one's titled, "My girlfriend, a 21-year-old female, has slept with over 100 guys, and it's hard to accept. How can I move this past this insecurity?" Well, first of all, it's not insecurity. You have good reason to have issue with this. Again, because as you're going to see in the story, he doesn't come close to the number that she has. And again, 100, it's right on that number, 100. Good luck. He says, "I'm a 22-year-old guy who just graduated, is currently applying to do graduate medicine and go traveling afterwards. I've been official with my girlfriend for about 5 months now, exclusive for a few months before that, and shagging a few months before that, while I was in my last year university. She's a year younger than me and has only 1 year left. I knew before sleeping with her that her body count was high. I heard through my best friend from the university that it was high. He estimated it was around 60. How does your best friend know this exactly? That's what I want to know. Like a few weeks after we became official, I asked her how many guys she slept with, and she said it is around 100 or more. 21 years old. Hearing it from her really hit the message home, but I remain calm and non-judgmental. Bullshit. You are judgmental, and you have every reason to be judgmental. However, it has been something in the back of my mind that's constantly analyzed unconsciously. Occasionally I think about it consciously, just as I am right now. Yeah, you're going to be walking around looking at every dude and thinking, that guy nail her? Did that guy nail her? I've only slept with 7 people, including her. Only one other was a serious relationship. The rest I'm in the least proud of, and the sex wasn't even that good, apart from one short and intense encounter. I feel like I'm someone who forms emotional relationships a lot easier than her. Yeah, because you're number 7 and her number is 100, and I guarantee that 100 is not that number. There's a guarantee, because it could probably be 200 or 300. But 100, let's just say she's telling the truth. 100. You said here you were able to have kind of an emotional thing. She ain't gonna have that with you, and you're gonna see as I go on, guys, that she well, I don't reveal too much, but let's just say the ability to bond and connect, that's gone bye-bye. Gals like this are not relationship material, and you'll see this in a moment. He says, she often refers to her sexual encounters as just a shag, which I've heard other people say before, and I cannot wrap my head around it. It gives me anxiety so often whenever I think about referring to S-word encounters as just a shag. It makes it feel like emotionally completely different to other people, and my mind goes in loops trying to understand and justify it. Well, dude, if you're having a problem with it and your gut's telling you there's an issue, then you need to end this relationship, okay? Because there's no way this is going to work out well for you, okay? Trust me on this. She's not going to be able to be with you for very long. She's not going to be able to keep her hands to herself, guaranteed. A part of me thinks that maybe I should break up and only pursue relationships with women who don't see sex as just a shag, and one who has a lot fewer sexual partners. That is what you should pursue then. The problem is you're hooked on this girl. Now, again, like I said before, good luck nowadays trying to find a gal that doesn't have a lot of partners. However, 100 by 21 or more, because I don't buy that 100, or some of these other numbers which I mentioned from the previous story, yeah, that's obviously on the higher end. But these guys need to find girls that are obviously much more traditional and conservative, and even then, that's tricky. It's one thing in my opinion, if you have if it's a girl and she has boyfriends throughout her life, and obviously she had relationships with them, as opposed to never-ending one-nighters and all that. If you have relationships, you're close to someone, okay, no big deal. But 100, 200, 400, you got to be shitting me. And they wonder why guys don't actually want to have relationships with them, and they try to shame guys because they're like, ugh, hell no. We'll get into that in a moment. He says, But on the other hand, society is saying that it's morally unacceptable for a man to say a woman shouldn't be allowed to have more S-word partners. Yeah, a society that's been completely infiltrated and now influenced by the feminist movement. A guy has every right to say, no way. There's no way I'm getting a relationship with you, let alone marrying a gal that's been that promiscuous. No freaking way. That's a turnoff. I'm disgusted by this. I'm afraid my you-know-what's going to fall off if I get anywhere near her nether regions. He has every right. So do not trust what society says. Society is out of their goddamn mind. And maybe I'm just very insecure with myself and it has nothing to do with her. No, it has nothing to do with insecurity. 100 dudes, supposedly 100 dudes, he has every right to have an issue with this. But I really have no idea which is right. What is right is listening to your gut. Listening to what your gut is telling you, which is right. And if your gut's telling you this is wrong, and I don't like this, I'm happy about this, then listen to what your gut. Do what's best for you. Not what society claims how a guy should think and feel about this particular situation. I don't live too far away from her, and I visit her at university about once a week. But since I have plans to go traveling, it would realistically mean that we'd only be able to meet up once every month or two. She knows this and tells me that she is okay with me sleeping with other people while traveling and that she doesn't want to hold me back by the relationship when experiencing the world. See, that is her attitude towards sex. I don't want to hold you back, so go be free and do that. Do you want to be with a girlfriend, suppose a girlfriend that has that attitude? And I might add, that then gives her a pass to go get as much sausage as she wants while you're away because she's not going to be able to walk down the street without getting any sausage, let alone a month or so. She says that she doesn't want to be a girlfriend who tells their boyfriend what to do and she doesn't want to hold me back because she doesn't give a shit about you. That's why. And she's not capable of making that kind of connection anymore. We are exclusive at the moment. Pfft, fat chance. I asked her if she would feel like sleeping with other people while I'm traveling and she says she doesn't. Yeah, sure. She says maybe if she goes traveling later after university, or if we don't see each other for months or a year, she would want sex. I ask her how is she fine with this not being equal, and just says that she loves me and is looking long-term and doesn't want to pin me down short-term. So probably she's locking in this nice guy to be her guy that when she's truly done getting sausage, maybe when her number is 500, then she can find some dude to marry or put a ring on her finger, walk down the aisle. Yeah, good luck with that. So, putting this nice guy in layaway just for later on when she's ready, which in varying degrees happens quite often. She is very affectionate and dedicated to me. Well, I believe the affectionate part. Sexually, she says that I have a big you-know-what and I can dominate her anytime I want. I broke up with her twice for sleeping related issues, and she was eager to get back ASAP. She says she loves me all the time and we call and meet up. She says she doesn't want anyone else's sausage, just mine, and that I can you-know-what with her all day long. Although sometimes she complains that the sex can be too vanilla and mediocre and wants me to be hardcore dominating. This is a trick for hookups, friends with benefits, like I believe this guy said in the beginning. That's it, nothing more. And even then, with these kind of numbers, I would be like 3 freaking condoms on me, quite honestly, and be going right to the freaking doctors afterwards. I mean, it's girlfriend material? Hell no. He finishes up saying, I just can't get over the fact that she slept over 100 guys, but I'm willing to introspect and discover why I'm feeling so insecure about this. Can anyone help shed some light in this situation? Thank you for reading, and I hope this might help someone else who might be in a similar situation. Dude, you're not insecure. 100 freaking dudes, and again, I don't buy this 100 number. Probably 200 or 300. No, it has nothing to do with insecurity. And don't let anybody tell you that. And anybody watching this that may find themselves in a situation like this, it's not insecurity. That's just you're turned off. You're repulsed by this, okay? Not girlfriend material. And don't listen to society that a man shouldn't be judgmental or anything like that. Because guess what? Most dudes don't have anything close to those numbers. But at the end of the day, a good-looking guy, a really good-looking guy can hold up a sign that says free you-know-what. And if he thinks he's going to have a line down the street of girls, good luck. However, an average girl could hold up a sign saying free P, and there'll be a line down the street of guys, whether they want to admit it or not. Easily, okay? So it's a lot easier for the gals to get D than for guys to get P, okay? But if you're turned off by this, he has every right to be, say, no, not happening. Now the final one, the one you all been waiting for. Titled, I'm a 30-year-old woman who had, you-know-what, with nearly 400 men. and quite a few women between the ages of 17 and 28. 400. Now, the old joke about whatever number a gal gives multiplied times 3, so we can go from there. But this is about a gal. She posted this online. 400 dudes by 30 years old. You start doing the math here of how many each year, maybe how many a month, how many a week from like 18 years old and on. And we know nowadays that probably starting at 14 or 15, sadly, but 400 dudes. Good job, feminist movement, really promoting these empowered gals to have 400 dudes. If she thinks she's actually going to get a guy that's going to not have issue with this, in which, by the way, she's going to claim she has, sure. She's going to go into this Q&A thing, which I copied down some of the different things that are entertaining, but can't make this shit up. She says, I am now happily married and perfectly satisfied with the idea of only being with one person for the rest of my life. Sure. He knows I slept with tons of people before we met, but not the exact number. He's never asked. Yeah, like she would actually tell him 400 and like he'd be okay. He might think, maybe she had 22 boyfriends over the years. Okay, no problem. Wrong. If this guy knew the real number, there is no way any guy would get together with a gal. I don't care how good looking she is. He may have fun with her, but you be extremely careful, have 3 condoms on him somehow, but marry a gal with 400 dudes that she's claiming? No freaking way. Now listen to this Q&A that people were asking her random questions and her answers to these things. One guy says, that's approximately 1 man every week and a half. No question, just thought I'd contribute some useless statistics. And she says, when you're working as a cocktail waitress in a major American city and going out until all hours nearly every night, it's pretty easy to rack up 1 or more every night. 1 or more every night? If you so desire, and for a while I did. When I got a more professional job with normal hours, I used Craigslist. Yes, I was one of those few women on Craigslist. So she couldn't get enough D as it was, but so she had to go on Craigslist to get... She says, and a few other websites to get my fix at least once a week, sometimes more often. Probably because she ran out of dudes. That's probably what happened, so she had to resort to Craigslist. Another guy says, why couldn't you have posted this before you got married? You could have made some Reddit boys very happy. She says, I probably already slept with some of them. Another guy says, would you call yourself a sex addict? Did you stop for your husband or yourself? What's the stupidest thing you did? What's the smartest? He says, you seem reasonably put together based on AMA. Good luck with your marriage. And she says, I don't think I was a sex addict. Sure. But then again, I don't really buy into the popular theories of addiction. Do I think my behavior wasn't healthy? Yes. Did I need therapy or help to stop? No. I just realized it was my time. Because I found someone I want to spend the rest of my life with, and he is worth more to me than having sex with new people. Stupidest thing I did was regularly go off with people alone, people I barely knew. Often while intoxicated. Smartest, condoms. She must have had truckloads. UPS truck was probably backing in, unloading box after box after box of condoms at her house. And again, I don't buy this number 400 at all to begin with. And not a sex addict, you got to be shitting me. Another guy says, are you religious at all? If not, have you ever considered joining the Catholic Church just so you can give some priest the best confession of his life? Something tells me she's not very religious. She says, I am absolutely not religious. Well, there's a surprise. But I was raised in the Southern Baptist Church, and I'd be lying if I said that rebelling against that didn't figure into my promiscuity, at least a little bit. So, guys that think that, she was a church girl growing up, those are usually the biggest freaks. She says that I'm sure I could just ask a former Catholic what to say in the confession booth if I wanted to mess with the priest. Another guy asks, do you still live in the same city? If so, how often do you run into these past partners? Would be able to remember all the faces if shown to you. She says, I live in a different country now, actually. So she had to pick up and move to a different country so she wouldn't run into dudes that had relations with her. She says, but yes, when we go to the States, we often see people I've slept with. Because to be perfectly honest, that encompasses almost all my male friends. Some were friends before we hooked up and remained friends. Some friendships started when we hooked up. So she's that girl that has not only hooks up with lots of dudes, but all her friends. Yeah, something tells me she probably doesn't have a whole lot of female friends. Another guy says a whole bunch of things. He says, Pictures, please. Did you keep track of all those men during that time, or has it taken you at least 2 years to totally tally up that whacker? C. How many yards of dick is that exactly? Also, he's never asked, he will one day, then what? She says, under the first thing, he says, yeah, right. Like that's going to happen. I'm on the cute side of an average short, big boob, half Mexican, half American mutt. Long black hair and light skin. I tend to dress like an indie rock kid who grew up and got a real job, as opposed to the stripper wear you might be imagining. I definitely don't look slutty, never did. She says, next one, it's an estimate. Every time I try to make a mental tally, I remember one I forgot before. There are very, very few whose names I never got. I think there was a movie once where I saw a girl was hooking up with some dude. I think it was, what the hell was it called? I don't know what. And it was Janine Garofalo, and she actually had a diary. And she was writing down all the different dudes that she was hooking up and keeping track. I can imagine this one here. It wasn't Dazed and Confused. I don't know what the hell. It'll come back to me when I'm done this video. With regards to answering the question, like how much sausage, how much that would add up, she says, well, let's be cautiously optimistic about length and take about 6 inches, multiplied by 400, divided by 36. That's almost 67 yards. Less than I would imagine for some reason. So in other words, 67 yards approximately of sausage that she's taken in. And last one, no, I don't think he really will, in terms of her husband asking. He's pretty effing laid back about the whole thing. I wouldn't have married him otherwise, but if he asked, I wouldn't tell him the truth. I would tell him the truth. No doubt about it. I never asked him how many women he slept with, and I could effing care less if it were 10 or 1,000. You don't ask him because you don't care, because number one, that would cause him to ask you your real number, and also the fact that you don't have to worry about it because there's nowhere he's come close to having the amount of chicks that you've had dudes and girls. And back to the 400 thing, there's no way in hell, there's nobody believing this, like me, that's just 400. So there you go, guys. That'll be an interesting one to do for this video. A collection of people's posts about their girlfriends or their wives or just someone here with the 400. That popped up. I couldn't resist doing that one there. But like I said before, we are in Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 world. And where did this all come from? Thanks to the feminist movement and the S-word revolution. And the narrative nowadays is if, God forbid, guys have an issue with this or are turned off, then they're insecure and all those other stupid bullshit labels. No, guys. You have a girlfriend or girl you like and you find out she's had a number that makes you very uncomfortable, you got every reason in the world to walk away. And do not feel bad about it. Do not feel like you're being insecure. Don't let yourself be talked into certain things or whatever. Screw society. Society is, most people are sheep anyway and can't think for themselves. And it's been infiltrated and completely taken over by the feminist movement. But think for yourselves. But again, let this be pretty entertaining and worthy of a video for this channel. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know in the comment section, guys. Every one of you, if you believe these numbers, these gals were given the actual numbers. Even though they're very high numbers, I still think it's bullshit that they are what they're saying. I think it's way higher than that. The 100, 200, and the 400. Let me know what you think. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.